Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing this book that I just finished reading. If you have been following my channel or following me on Instagram, you'll know that this is what I just finished reading in the month of July. So I'm going to review and tell you guys what I felt about this book. But before I go on, I would like to welcome those that are watching for the first time and my old subscribers. And if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe, support the channel by liking and commenting. It will be very much appreciated. Now to the reason why we are here. So this is the book I just finished reading, and then it's called Lost or None, written by John Dean. So this is a true life story. Actually, it is a history novel. It is a history novel, a history book written by John Dean. He was actually involved in the Watergate scandal, and he was a lawyer. So in this book, he's basically writing about how, in the aftermath of the Watergate scandal, he actually went to jail for a short period of time because of his involvement in the Watergate scandal. So he was writing about how the aftermath affected his marriage, his relationships, his sense of self-worth, the way he perceived himself, and then he explored how his life was totally changed because of his involvement, and the way the life of the nation, talking about America in this case, was totally affected by the Watergate scandal. So this book is about 360 pages long, so it is not a very, very long book. As I said before, it is a historical novel. So for the pacing of the book, it is a fast-paced book. And then right from the beginning, it had me glued. I did not want to drop it because he started the novel at the point where he was released from a 4 month stint in jail. So how he was released, those he met first, how he reunited with his wife and all that. So it was very, very fast paced. And I can imagine, because if you know anything about political life, especially in Washington, it cannot help but be fast paced. And then another thing, the book was written before the year 2000. So I feel most of what he wrote is true. That is in my opinion. It's recently that people feel that they can just come out and lie about historical events. But this book was written, I think, in 1982 or so. So I feel what he wrote in this book are the true accounts of what really happened. So in my opinion, just like I said before, history should be factual, not entertaining. If the goal is to entertain, that is when you have embellishment of facts. And I think he did a very good job of capturing the mood of America after the scandal, after the Watergate scandal, the mood in his family and the mood even within himself. And in this book, there was a lot of self-examination. Hence, there were a lot of notable quotes and a lot of things to learn from this book, and I really liked it. So I like history, but for the years I was not reading, I didn't really realize that I was such a history buff. But with what I'm reading and the things I'm picking now, and after I read this book, I realized that I really, really love history. I really, really love history books, especially those that were written not very recently in the distant past. So, as I said before, it basically explores life after incarceration, how the writer was trying to incorporate himself back into society, the way people were perceiving him, and the weight of guilt that he had to carry. At a point, he even felt that he had to do penance he owed the nation penance, or he owed those in his life penance for what he had done. And then it also explored how people perceive crime. Even when he was in jail, some people that were in jail with him, murderers or hardened criminals, were even considering his own crime that it was not even a real crime. So that's just what he was exploring. And then the story was pretty straightforward, as I said. The dialogue was very, very good, and it was very fast paced. I really, really enjoyed it. And then there was a plot twist where, if you are familiar with the Watergate scandal, you know that there was somebody or an entity referred to as Deep Throat. So I actually set out on a quest to find who Deep Throat was. And I was not happy that he did not reveal who Deep Throat was, as in factually in this book, although he mentioned somebody, but he himself was not even very sure about who the person is. And then he devoted almost like 4 chapters of the book chasing down leads. He basically turned into a detective trying to find out who this Deep Throat is. And Deep Throat was a very, very a significant source that leaked the Watergate scandal. So when he started going down that rabbit hole, that was another welcome plot twist. So all in all, I was very satisfied with the book. As I said, a historical book, fast paced, the plot twist, even as he explored his relationship with his wife, his mother in law, and all that, his co workers, most especially those that stabbed him in the back, those that were faithful and sincere through everything, and all that. So, and it is a lesson in human nature, really. When you are down and out, how are human beings going to perceive you? So I really enjoyed it. So for the review, drum rolls, please. So I'm going to give, being that I like historical novels, I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5. So it was that good. I really, really liked it. And then it didn't have so many pages, but he was able to capture a lot. So my review for this book is a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I think he wrote something else, Blind Ambition, and apart from that, which was actually before this one. So I don't know if he wrote something else after it, but if I see any other thing by him, I'm sure I am going to read it. And from his writings, it is very obvious that he was a lawyer. You know, lawyers, they like to use a lot of words to describe something very, very small. So I really, really liked that. I like when writers play with words and use words to entertain me. So, guys, that is my review of this book, and I'm going to move on to something else. If you want to know what I'll be reading next after this, do follow me on Instagram at Live Boss Books rather, and see what I'm reading next. I will also be back here on this channel to do the review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.